Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Tucker Tuesday. What's going on, chat? Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's having a lovely day today. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Howdy, all, and to all the lovely folks in the chat, and to our humble host. That's me. Now, please excuse me while I go back to lurking and pumping iron. Hell yeah, guy. That's what's up. Oh, boy. What's up, chat? How we doing? Hope everyone's having a lovely day today. I had a really I cannot believe what happened last night. I spent the better part of 3 to 4 hours in the emergency room last night. And when I tell you I bled the whole time. I cut myself. I was digging one of those plastic wall anchors out of my wall, and I couldn't get it out. So I ended up just cutting the heads off and plastering over them. And the knife slipped and went down my ring finger and got kind of like between the webbing, or kind of between the ring and the middle finger, the webbing there. It stuck in there just like a quarter inch. Just a quarter inch. Like it just nicked it. And I looked at it like, oh, that's not too bad. Then it started bleeding. Like, okay, I should go run it underwater. I started running it underwater, and Shelly walked in and saw me, and she freaked the fuck out because it was bleeding badly. And I'm like, this is the smallest cut I think I've ever gotten, and it just won't stop bleeding. So like, okay, I'll grab a towel and I'll hold on to it, and I'll get back to what I was doing. So it hurt a little, like on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 2. So I was just power fisting a rag while I'm cutting this shit out of the wall, and I got right back to it. And Shelly comes over, she's like, hey, the blood's dripping. And I was like, what? And I looked down, and sure as shit, the rag, the way I was holding it, it was dripping down my finger. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So I'm like, okay, I should probably put a Band-Aid on it. This clearly isn't working. I put a Band-Aid on it. Instantly right through. I'm like, oh boy, this is annoying. So okay, I sit down, I put my hand up, I took medical tape and a gauze wrap and just wrapped it around. Like, okay, maybe this will stop it. 20 minutes later, it bled through like 2 gauze wraps. Oh fuck. Okay, I'm gonna glue it. And she said, no, you're not gluing that. We're not doing that. You're not gluing it. I said, why? She said, that's gross. I said, I'll super glue it. It's fine. I'll super glue it and it'll be done. She said, no, you should go get it to see if they can stitch it or glue it. I said, oh, so they can glue it? And she said, yes. So I go and I wait in the ER for 3 fucking hours. I bled through my rag, like 3 gauze packs and a towel that they gave me. And the doctor finally comes to look at it and he sees it and he goes, yeah. Can't glue that. I said, why? He said, the glue won't take. I said, why? He said, the second you take a rag off of it, it's dripping blood. Glue cannot take to that. Okay, fine. So out of this whole thing, he's like, okay, let me order the stuff. Let me order the suture kit and all that. I said, okay. So I wait. An hour later, he finally comes back. He said, okay, you ready? I said, yeah. And he goes, okay, I got to hit it with the lidocaine. I said, okay. He said, this is going to hurt. I said, yeah, it's fine. Motherfucker, that lidocaine, holy jumping. And I've had lidocaine and Novocaine before, but good, should have gone to an urgent care. They were all closed. It happened at like 7:30 and I just looked up urgent care and they were all closed. Motherfucker, that light, and for some reason, half the time I get local anesthetics, it kicks me right in the gut. I get really hot. I start sweating. Like my body rejects it. It just doesn't like local. When I had my root canals, they gave me the local Novocaine and that was fine. But when I had to have a tooth pulled a couple of years ago, same thing happened. When I had an infection on my hand and they had to cut my finger open, so they just gave me a local. They hit me with that. That was fine. But 50-50, this lidocaine hit me. So I was sweating. I got super hot. I thought I was going to shit my pants. And I'm like, He's like, are you okay? Are you good? I'm like, yeah, just give me a second. I'm good. Let me take my hoodie off. So I took my hoodie off. He's like, are you good? I'm like, yes, stop, shut up, I'm fine. He goes, you don't look good. I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm fine, just give me a second. And then it passes. But I freaked the doctor the fuck out. And he goes, have you ever had stitches before? I said, no, actually I haven't. He said, oh, good, this is my first time doing them too. And I looked at him, I said, yeah, my dentist did that when I had a root canal. He said, damn it. So he's like, damn it. My wife says I should stop saying that joke. It's not funny. I'm like, I think it's personally hilarious. I've just heard the setup like 2 months ago. But yeah, all that horse shit, 3 hours, at least 4 to 5 ounces of blood. 5 hours later, I walk out of the hospital with one single fucking stitch. One single stitch. You know, like, I could have done this at home with some fucking fishing line. I was so fucking annoyed. Holy shit, I was so annoyed. But that was my night. That was fun. It was super fun. I got a dose of lidocaine. It hurt like hell. I still felt the pain of the nail getting ripped off. You had to wait because you weren't dying. I figured they would have just got me through because I was a single stitch. Hey, can somebody just get a sewing kit down there and put a stitch in this idiot's knuckle and we'll call it a day? But no, I had a fucking, ugh. On the plus side, you got an excuse to eat iron-rich foods and red meat for the next day. So I don't need an excuse to do that stuff. But, and I was like, why was it bleeding so badly? He said, you might have nicked an artery, but that would have clotted with how long you were gripping that towel. And the nurse, I could have punched this nurse in the face. But he's like, you might have nicked an artery, but you're on aspirin. So aspirin, you will just bleed. You will bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed forever. I was like, oh, that sucks. He's like, yeah, do you need to take it? And I said, well, I had a stroke a few years ago. I haven't had any sort of symptom. I haven't had any inkling. My blood pressure is naturally higher. And he goes, yeah, I can see that. And I'll tell you why in a minute. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not that high. Your nurse is just a certified retard. But it's usually around 130 to 145 when I had the stroke. The head of neurology for Metro Health in Cleveland said my blood pressure baseline, where most people's is 120 over 80, mine's going to be 145 over 87 to 92 or something like that. He's like, okay, you should talk to your GP and see if you can get off the aspirin. So I said, okay, but circle back to the high blood pressure thing. They're giving me triage, you know, take your temperature, do you have COVID? Did you get your vaccine? Blah, blah, blah. No. Have you ever been tested for COVID? No. But she gives me my blood pressure. She goes, take off your coat. I go, I can't let go of this rag because then I will just be bleeding literally everywhere. And this bitch takes my blood pressure with my hoodie sleeve pulled up around my arm, and I'm gripping the fuck out of this rag. So like I'm half tensed muscles. And she goes, oh wow, it's 208. And I said, yeah, it's going to be, because do you see what I'm doing? You're doing it through my hoodie sleeve while I am flexing my bicep gripping this rag. And she just goes, okay, and walks away. That was it. Okay, fine, thanks. So and I waited, and I took it later that night when I got home with my blood pressure cuff, which is off a little bit high. And it was like 122. Like that's good, but that's not what it's supposed to be. That would have not flown if it was me. And I just let it go. I'm not arguing. I'm in a ghetto hospital. Whatever. Was she unaware that you had 2 arms? Apparently. And then they're like, well, what were you using? What kind of knife? I said, a metal one? They said, is it new? Is it clean? I was like, it's pretty new, and I just sharpened it today. It's like, well, you still might want to consider getting a tetanus shot. I'm like, yeah, might as well. I've been doing a lot of stuff with metal and knives and stuff lately, sharpening them and doing that. It's probably not a bad idea. And the guy walks in. He's like, okay, I'm going to use a pediatric needle. And I said, what? He's like, okay, we're done. I said, what? And he goes, yeah, I use pediatric needles because they're easier and people don't complain about them. Like, do I seem like somebody who would complain about a shot? He's like, no, I just do it for everybody. I got mildly offended. I got mildly offended. It's like, okay. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. But yeah, that was a fun night, and I forgot how bad tetanus shots fucking hurt the next day. I was just like, do I need it? He said, yeah, you should probably get it. Your arm's going to hurt the next day, but it hurts a lot less than getting tetanus. I said, okay. But yeah, today, and I got it on the same arm I have the stitch in. And like, I'm having a hard time with it, man. I was cleaning earlier, and I had to put my arm down like, oh, this fucking sucks. Nurse Khaleesi in the wrong chat said men do complain about needles more, can't confirm. What hurt was the needle of the lidocaine, because he put it in the fucking cut. He put it in the cut. And I was like, he said, I told you, don't move. I was like, you motherfucker, what are you doing? Was it your dominant hand? No, it was my offhand. I said, okay, cool. He's like, yep, we're done. See, I already stopped bleeding. I said, all right, sweet. So when I go to lift weights tomorrow, do I just wear a glove or something? He's like, no, you can't fucking go lift weights. I said, well, how am I supposed to work out? He goes, cardio. I said, okay, so I'm just not working out then. See, if I lived in Ohio, you could have called me and I would say, well, what's stopping you, Khaleesi? I could use some help around here. But I think the lidocaine hurt worse than the stitch did. And I have a massive fucking scratch from like the low head of my tricep on my right arm all the way down to like the front of my forearm on my right arm. And he's like, well, that looks like it probably a bigger cut than what you got. What the hell happened there? I'm like, oh, my bear attacked me. And he goes, what? I said, yeah, my bear jumped on me and gave me a good scratch all the way down. And he looked at me like I was fucking crazy. I said, yeah, my pet bear. And he goes, pet bear? I said, yeah, my Eve. And I showed him pictures. Like, oh. Why is this not working properly? Okay, that was weird. Matt Barnes donated and Luna got HP. Cool, Streamlabs, thanks. I entered the wrong chat earlier. How dare you? Tell Polly to move to Ohio and I'll come. Yeah, no. I had to get stitches in my finger. I'll message you in a minute, Khaleesi. Nurse gave me lidocaine. It wasn't enough. She wanted to give me another dose. I said no because I didn't have insurance at the time. I felt every stitch. Then I think I freaked the nurse out. I guarantee that the lidocaine hurt worse than the fucking stitches. Because stitches, they're just sewing. It's just a thin little needle and they're pulling on your skin. Like you could put Oragel on me and I would feel fucking better than what they did. Hold on, Khaleesi, I'm going to send you a message real quick. Yeah. Boom. Lidocaine went straight to a nerve that was damaged in the cut. That's why I don't get anesthetic for small cuts that need stitching. I just lock out the ouch. Yeah, I've never had stitches before, but I can't imagine that they would hurt that badly. Like, I'm sure they hurt, but I'm sure it's not fucking, oh my God, I am literally about to impulse punch this doctor in the side of the head. Here, I'll show you a picture of Eve if you don't know what she looks like. I don't know how you wouldn't know, but I'll show you a picture either way. Let me send it to myself here. Never had stitches myself. Well, come over. Let me see if I can help you rectify that situation. I already have this message open, so Khaleesi's about to get an unsolicited photograph of my dog. And as oh, there we go. Bing. Bong. Oh, that's super zoomed in. That's my big girl. That's my pretty Eve. Oh, she's so big. She's so big. She's a big baby. She's a big, stupid, clumsy baby. She's about 140 pounds. Realistically, she's about 140. You're not wrong. The shot hurt worse. Yeah, I kind of seems counterintuitive. Holy shit, that is a massive dog. I wasn't kidding. What was this? No such thing as an unsolicited Eve pick. Fair. That's she's a brick house. But before we get started, that was my night. That was my night. Thank you, Matt Barnes. I appreciate it. And if you guys want to support, oh, that's the thing I wanted to do real quick. Okay, nobody donate for a second because I want to do something before I forget. There is some housekeeping stuff. Okay, hold on. Let me readjust this. Nobody donate $1,000 right now because I have to do something. Enable that one. Disable that one. Disable that one. Or was it this? What? Hello? Streamlabs? Combo, comma, the hell is this one? Com?
Do not come.
Oh.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
I have labeled these the dumbest shit. Okay, I think I have to do another dono audit soonish. Okay, that's what that was. All right, anyway, there is some housekeeping stuff I want to go over. Feel better, Snoot. Stitches are no fun. I don't feel bad. I just can't lift weights for a week. That's the worst part of all of this. I can't do the weight of the lifting. Feel better, Snoot. Stitches are no fun. I've had them lots of times. Having cysts removed from the corners of my eye. Okay, now anybody who was thinking about donating a comma, you're more than welcome to. I have not, I was thinking about this earlier, and I hadn't seen the Vegeta comma donation in a long time, so I turned that one back on. Cysts out of the corner of my eyes removed tomorrow, so probably we'll get a couple stitches. Fun times. Well, good luck, Melanska. Hope everything goes swimmingly. Can you do leg day at least? Well, yeah, but why would I just do leg day? I've had stitches. The most recent one, I fell spinning down a patchy asphalt. Doctor said there wasn't anything left to stitch up. I've got a circular scar the size of a quarter on my knee now. Nice. And a donkey punch for $10. Blaze sends virtual kisses for her whittle boo-boo. Thank you, Zoobs. I appreciate that. Zoobs. Because people tend to skip leg day. I don't want to just, like, I could, but I don't want to. Oh, I guess I could. And tomorrow is leg day. Anyhow, some housekeeping stuff I want to go over. I think it's about time that I'm gonna close up the main channel. I'm gonna record a video. I'm gonna do an actual video here. I'm gonna do it at the bar, and I'm gonna send a fond farewell to the main channel. I think it's about that time. I have fought for 4 years, literally 4 years now. I have fought for 4 years to try to get it back, get something going with it, but just nothing is taking. Just nothing's going to take. So I think it's about time to shut that one up. And then I'm going to try to move as many people as I can over to the 2 new channels, which are on the Discord. I'm going to try to do, I'm going to do the best I can to get people over there. But yeah, YouTube just doesn't notify people of my stuff. Will you finally get your fucking money then, Sinatra? Well, no, I'm not going to delete the channel. I'm not going to delete it, I don't think. I'm going to put up a video. I'm going to give instructions on how to find the new channel and where to find Screams. And I'll leave it up for at least a month, I think. I think I'll leave it up for about a month. But, yeah, I think...
Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most infamous man-made disasters. Number 1.
The 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, the one that guaranteed women the right to vote, was ratified in 1920.
I don't know why it's looking like that. I'm gonna have to mess with this later. Now let me do this, and then do this, and then do this, and then go like this. All right, I guess we're just gonna have to deal with that for now. I will fix it in due course. But yeah, I think it's about time. I think it's about time. And I like right there, you haven't shown up in the sub feed forever. I haven't seen that channel. And you know, it's fine. I understand. And you know, if it were something graceful, like people just naturally losing interest, I wouldn't feel as bad about it, but I know there's nothing natural about it. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to record that video today or tomorrow. Or probably, most likely tomorrow, actually. I kind of have to work around Shelly's schedule because, you know, I need somebody to operate the camera. Which would be also helpful if you were here, Khaleesi. You could be my assistant with that. But yeah, it's emotional. But yeah. I'll get more in depth in the video about it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So my goal going forward is to keep the 2 new channels as clean as possible. I am on the cusp of applying for monetization on the Speakeasy channel and the Sin and Sash channel. I'm a little far off from the Silent Sin channel because just haven't gotten the people over there yet. So if you are not subscribed to the Silent Sin channel, please do so as soon as you can. I would greatly appreciate that, and it would be a really big help going forward with what we're doing. Why does Biden look like an Attack on Titan giant? Oh my fucking god, he does. Someone last week said he looked like an SCP. Both of those are just spot on accurate. Okay. Well, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Cult to Curl for 777. When this channel gets to this channel being the Silent Sin channel, which is on the Discord and my Twitter, gets to 40k subs, will we finally get a Warhammer stream? You know what? Fine. When we get to 40k subs, we will finally get a Warhammer stream. We'll get it then, I promise. Deranged Mouse for the Crab Rave. Let's just replay that one real quick. I do love that donation. Party for the main channel. Party. One of my boys used to sing that all the time. Party, party, party in the elevator. I don't know where he got it from, but he loves it. Matt Barnes, 116 watching and 36 likes on Screams. I know there's an exciting new place, but if you're here, hit the like. Also, not to be greedy, Snoop, but can I get my wrench moved? You know where? Yeah, we could do that. I think we could do that. Want me to DM that stream? What? Sure. And oh, okay, we're all caught up. Oh, the Warhammer stream. Wasn't a party in the elevator basic plot for Fatal Attraction? Oh. Maybe. Maybe. Lamented Guide. I thought about you today. And the amount of times Lamented Guide and Sam Silent just come unbidden to my mind as I live my day is a little unnerving. Same thing with Call to Krill. But I was going to a nerd shop, a D&D shop, because I have an idea for the Mixology channel, and I need D&D dice to do it. And I go there it was like 11:30 in the morning. Like, oh, fuck yeah, this place has got to be open. Right? It's 11:30. So I pull in. They don't open till 1. Like, what the fuck? What kind of retail store doesn't open till 1 in the afternoon? I got so fucking mad. I got so goddamn mad. Like, why are you making it hard for me to give you money, motherfuckers? Living rent-free in Sin's Head, a scary place. Khaleesi, you know, the new social media trend is talking about the intrusive thoughts. Like, my mind runs at a constant, like, oh, okay, and just all day long. All day long, my mind is running. It's all different shit too. References, funny things I've seen in movies, a lot of Call of the Void shit. Game stores do tend to open later from what I said, but 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock? That's... Get up. 1 o'clock. What are you doing? I know you're not taking a shower, fucking nerds. But yeah, I need to get D&D dice, and I just want like OG wooden ones. I just want some OG wooden dice. But apparently they just don't sell those on Amazon, so I got to figure something out. I'll figure it out. Whatever. Nerd shops make very little money and are more of a passion project. But why are they not open when I need them to be open? Like, they should know I need to stop there at 11:30 just to buy a thing of dice. They should know that, the bastards. Oh, hey, Nunya business, everybody. Make sure you tip your hat to the Comma Club leader since the inauguration of it. Dude has been in charge for months. But not on the new channel, which is very disappointing. Speaking of tabletop streams, and D&D group is resuming this month. Ooh. Check out Wormwood for wooden dice. Could you send me a link? Sin, do I need to send you dice? I mean, you can. I'm definitely not going to say no. Somebody sent me a fucking cane sword, and I have to send it to Polly. I don't know if dude has an online moniker or not. Like, I know his name, but thanks, B. Appreciate it. All right, anyway, guys, let's get to the talk. I've just meandered. I'll send you a link for both. Put it on Discord or send it to me on Discord, please. I've meandered for 40 minutes and we have not gotten to a single tucking thing. I see JK has shared it out on the twits. That's a good man. Captain Frost on the twits. Good man. Thank you. Shadowclaw might be a good man. No. Oh, yes. He did. Retweet. Quote. Yep. Retweet. Bang, bang, bang. All right, guys, please smash that like button. Share it out on your... you make resin dice, so you're going to have to send me some photos of what you got. Oh, yes, Tuck Me Inson. You know I got you, Blay. Guys, please smash that like button. Share it out on your favorite social media. And if you do feel so inclined, please hit up that Streamlabs and make sure to head on over to the new channel, The Silent Sin, on... it's on Discord and on the Twits. I do not want to post it in the chat because of my own personal paranoia. I feel like it would be a lot quicker to get everyone over there that way, but I'm not doing it. No, I need a dice set. So yeah, smash like, share out, head over to the new channel. It's on the Discord. It is on the Twits. Oh, we watched that one, I think. And Streamlabs. Greatly appreciated. I have the OG comma turned on if anyone feels like being a legend. We are in the process of getting the new Comic Club packages together. And the McKinley packages, we're just waiting on stuff to come in. We are just waiting on stuff to come in. So the McKinley 5, the comma, a K. If you feel like doing any of that stuff, that's greatly appreciated. And, you know, let's just get to. Sorry. It's probably too late, but I noticed I've been getting notifications for your channels after I cleared the app's cache and data. Shadowban shit must be in those files. Hopefully, that tech reminder will help everybody else out. I mean, it's certainly possible. It is certainly possible. If Sam guessed it on your channel, would that make you sin silent? I suppose. I suppose it could.
The good news about the collapse of the traditional legacy media is that new media is moving to fill the void they left behind. And Libs of TikTok is honestly, well, it's a Twitter account, but it's become one of the most important sites of reporting in the new media. And essentially what Libs of TikTok does is find videos that people have posted online about themselves publicly and hold them up. Hardcore Japanese cartoon pornography, it exists, and it's every bit as creepy as it sounds.
I haven't seen that one in a long time. Jeez. That's good. That's very good.
Around the country right now. Here's a sample.
I have had multiple students come out to me, not just with their sexuality, but also with their gender identity. It's one of the reasons I think it's so important to be out and loud and proud. I teach my
out and loud and proud. Thank you, Deranged Mouse, for the 1945. Much appreciated. Thank you, Kalanapin Princess, Comic Club member.
Elementary school students about gender identity. Some people are girls, some are boys, some are both, some are neither.
I might tell this kid, we do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance.
Oh, Deranged Mouse, there's a lot of primo donations down below. I see a few people in the chat saying they make dice. Send me what you make. I will definitely purchase from you. I don't want to deal either. I want to support people. So let me know what you make.
Too. And he like looks around. He goes, "Oh, that one?"
So there's something really wrong in the country and in our classrooms. Kids are being exposed to this without the knowledge of their parents. And we wouldn't even know that were it not, in a lot of cases, for the reporting of Libs of TikTok, who, by the way, doesn't editorialize much, just holds up.
It doesn't editorialize anything. But see, this is the thing I'm talking about. This is another case of the stuff that these people talk about. These I don't even want to call them leftists or Democrats, but these people, they will say, yes, we are actively trying to change the voting demographic. But if a Republican or right-winger or just anybody says, yeah, guys, hey, they're changing the voting demographic, they go, shut up, racist. You can't say that. That's racist. Oh, no, we're just repeating what you said. We are literally repeating what you said. Lighters are pretty cheap.
What people have said about themselves.
Not the ones that go in the Comic Club boxes.
For doing this, the left has really tried to hurt the person who runs Libs of TikTok. Taylor Lorenz of the Washington Post wrote a whole piece trying to find out who this person is so other people could harass her. Well, the person who runs Libs of TikTok just sat down with us and for the first time revealed her identity for a new episode of Tucker Carlson today. Here's part of it.
People ask me all the time, this is one of the most common questions, is if you could say one thing to Taylor, what would it be? Or if you can ask her one question. And I thought about this so much, and I was never sure how to answer.
I feel like this lady from Libs of TikTok, she's going to have an attempt on her being.
Answer the question, and I thought about it a lot. And then I realized the answer is, I don't want to talk to her. She's a bad person, and she's toxic. Yeah. And I don't want to, we agree.
Kalanapin said, I've never been happier to be child-free the way the school systems go. Well, let me take care of that for you.
We disagree, we disagree on everything. We have nothing in common. She's not a person I ever want to be in the same room with. Yes. I never want to be in her presence. So there's my answer. I don't want to talk to her.
So on Tuesday, we're going to take that off her face, and you will see for the first time who runs Libs of TikTok. She will be public, and we think a force in American media. That's going to happen Tuesday right here on this show. Here's an amazing story. Isabel.
You think she's ugly? I'm going to disagree.
Vaughn Spruce is the leader of 40 Days for Life campaign in Birmingham, England. She's not a terrorist. She's the opposite. She's someone who prays a lot. Well, earlier this month, she was praying silently outside an abortion clinic in Birmingham. She wasn't yelling or carrying a sign or blocking the doorway or doing anything disruptive. She was just praying. Praying. Not to the government, to God. And that's not allowed anymore. So police approached her and arrested her and charged her with violating a...
And I have a feeling that it's not that she was praying. It's just that she wasn't praying to the right direction. If you kind of picking up what I'm laying down, she's praying the wrong way.
Public space protection order and committing, quote, antisocial behavior. And we're not making this up. It was caught on video. Here it is.
What are you here for today?
Physically, I'm just standing here.
Okay. Why here of all places? I know you don't live nearby.
This is an abortion centre.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Tucker kind of left that part out.
Praying?
I might be praying in my head.
So I'll ask you once more, will you voluntarily come with us now to the police station for me to ask you some questions about today and other days where there are allegations that you've broken public spaces protection?
If I've got a choice, then no.
Okay, well then you're under arrest on suspicion of failing to comply with the public spaces protection order.
Has anybody else noticed that the articles that are supporting anti-cop narratives have all completely disappeared? Am I the only one to notice that all the anti-cop articles are just gone? That's very interesting. That is very interesting.
Public Spaces Protection Order. Isabel Vaughn Spruce joins us tonight. Isabel, thank you so much for coming on. So this order is designed, the law is designed to protect public spaces from praying?
Well, maybe if I could...
So I discovered I cannot have one drink before bed, woke up wondering why I felt like shit, then found a bottle of Japanese nearly empty. I got my first bottle of Japanese Toki Suntory. My brother got it for me for Christmas, and it's not bad. And I seem to be the only one that thinks it has just a little hint of scotch to it.
Give a bit of background to this. So for 20 years or around that, I've been going outside abortion centres and praying there and offering help to women. I know, well over 100 women who've accepted our help and continued their pregnancies. But September this year, the local council in Birmingham brought in this censorship zone.
ACAB is gone too, I've noticed. Yeah. It like there's still Twitter accounts with it active, but yeah, no, it's I think it's interesting. Zed, for $1, police in the UK have time to arrest a praying chick, but not time to investigate my girlfriend's sister's burglary that happened 2 weeks ago. Interesting. Very interesting.
PSPO. Formerly these were used for dog fouling and drunken behaviour and things like that, but they're now popping up around the country surrounding abortion centres, and they ban...
Toki tastes like a nice bourbon that had an affair with a decent scotch. Thank you. Okay, I'm not going crazy. I thought it had just a little of scotch to it.
Behaviour like protesting.
Britain is just fucked at the moment. Hey, man, we're not too far behind.
But it also names prayer and counselling as forms of protesting. And so 4 times I went and stood near the closed abortion centre and silently prayed there.
We will take Jerusalem! Deus Vult! Deus Vult! Deus Vult! Deus Vult! Deus Vult!
Deus Vult! Deus Vult! Deus Vult! And Deranged Mouse taking out Luna to be the new stream boss. Luna, who came in at a McKinley. It was, I think, last Tucker, maybe? Had a decent HP. Wasn't outrageous, but deranged mouse coming in and stealing it. I remember a few years back when there was a story in England where a woman reported Muslims for praying in the park that didn't allow prayer, and she got arrested for reporting it. Pepperidge Farm remembers. She recorded the police arresting her. Hey, yeah, guys, always, please, always, if you have interactions with cops, just have your camera out. Oh, shit. I'm clicking the wrong button.
See, the police came and asked me if I was protesting, which I wasn't. They asked me if I was praying, and I said I might be silently praying. I was arrested. I was searched. I was locked in a cell. I was then interviewed or interrogated, however you'd like to see it, during which I was quizzed about what I was praying about. I was then released on
I would have said I'm praying to Allah.
bail, and then subsequently charged on 4 counts of protesting and engaging in an act intimidating of service users. So I now stand on trial on February the 2nd, supported by ADF UK, really for freedom of thought. And the concern is here in England that national buffer zones are now being discussed. So there's a possibility of every abortion centre in this country having a similar zone around it. And obviously the implications of that are really concerning.
If you're arresting people for praying, you are committing an act of evil. It's not a close call at all. There's sort of no debate about that. And I would think that even secular people would recognize that. Did anybody, any prominent person, step forward to defend you?
I have had a lot of people who say they're pro-choice or that they support abortion, but they've also got concerns about this, and that in itself.
Now, see, here's the thing: is I don't think the government has any place to tell you what you can and can't do, but this is a little ridiculous. This is a little beyond the pale.
Is very encouraging to hear. That it's not necessarily about people who support abortion or don't support abortion. This is more to do with freedom of thought here. It's even gone further than freedom of prayer. I mean, we all talk about the
Suntory is a great brand. They make non-alcoholic drinks too. That is on my list of mixology videos idea, is non-alcoholic spirits, but they're very expensive. They're like $40 a bottle. So I don't know if I'm ready to invest that yet.
Cancel culture and the concerns we have about people being cancelled, speaking and public, maybe public speaking engagements, but to be arresting somebody for what they're thinking, it's just gone even a step further. It's actually quite surreal. That's the word I'd use to describe it. I mean, the amount of people who've used the word Orwellian to me to describe this, likening it to the 1984 novel. And it's really seemed like that to me from start to finish, and obviously it's not over yet, but it's just quite...
Oh my God, if you do alcohol-free stuff, Sin, I'll be so happy, even just mocktails. Okay. All right, yeah, I'll do it. Let me... yeah, all right, I'll do it.
A surreal experience.
Well, it's evil. It's an act of evil. Arresting someone for praying is an act of evil, period. And it just breaks your heart to think of all the people in charge, your prime minister on down, who are standing by and allowing this to happen. And I'm just so glad that you did this. I hope you'll continue to do it. That's a human right. They can't take it away from you. And I appreciate your telling us about it on this show. Isabel Vaughn Spruce, thank you. So remember the fake outrage over the Christmas song, Baby It's Cold Outside? You were supposed to be very mad about that song. Part of a broader effort to destroy everything you grew up with that was good, your history, your culture, but they told us the time was me too. Well, comedian Tom Cotter remembers that very well, and he noted that that song generated a lot more outrage among lifestyle liberals than a pop song about women's genitals.
I mean, is he going to sing it? Please tell me he's going to sing it.
So Tom Cotter's bit on this is all over the internet. You may have seen it. If you haven't, here's part of it.
And the one that really killed me was last Christmas, we canceled a song that was written in the 1940s called Baby It's Cold Outside, which is fine if you feel that way, but at the exact same time, the #1 song in this nation for over 2 months was Wet I am not making that up. You can look it up. Google it. So I want to wrap up my show by comparing and contrasting the lyrics of these two songs.
For some reason, I'm not seeing a slabs link over here. Maybe it's just me, but it's missing. Well, I cannot post a link on that channel yet. If I want to post a link, I have to get to, I think it's 1,000 subscribers, naturally. Verify my home address or verify my federal ID. So I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. If anybody, any one of the mods want to post it in the chat, I will happily pin it, but I cannot post any link in the description.
If indeed this country has lost its mind, shall we? Let's start with the horribly offensive Christmas song written just after World War II. I really can't stay, baby, it's cold outside. I gotta go away, baby, it's cold outside. This evening has been so very nice. Yeah, you with some wet. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet. Beat it up, N-word, extra large, extra hard. Put this right in your face, swipe your nose like a credit card.
So when you destroy people's culture,
thank you, Ham and
replace it
Beans,
with something new, a new culture. And he pointed out what the new culture is. And it's not just Baby It's Cold Outside, because it's not just one song. It's everything you grew up with, everything that you thought made this country decent, all the happy memories from your childhood are now banned. So that would include Christmas carols like God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. We found this video from 2020 of people singing the new woke version of God Rest Ye Weary Gentlemen. Here it is.
God rest you also, women with no indictments, your face, moving and when created.
Why would they think that doing a Zoom call of caroling would work? Why? Why? What in the fuck? Okay, how can I twist this to my advantage the same way I did that the other thing? This thing.
Brazilian.
Okay, so the question becomes, which would you rather?
$15, little man. Put that shit in my hand. If that
money doesn't show, then you owe me, oh. My jungle love, yeah. Oh, wee, oh. That carol is straight AIDS. Thank you, Matt Barnes. Oh, boy. Hey, we're about a quarter of the way to goal. That's math. Yeah, close enough.
So again, the point is not to make it any less inclusive, it's to destroy the things that you love. Tom Cotter, of course, knows that. Comedians are really insightful. That's why they're comedians. Tom Cotter, who you just saw, joins us now. Tom, thanks so much for coming on. So what inspired you to compare yesterday's deeply offensive song with today's totally okay song?
Yeah, I'm not trying to bash anyone over the head with my politics, but I just think you got to draw a line in the sand somewhere. Like, I consider Christmas a birthday party. It's a birthday party for the baby Jesus. And these people want to destroy a kid's birthday party, which I think is outrageous.
Right.
They wake up in the morning waiting to be outraged. What can I be triggered by today so I can become a Christmas Karen and ruin it for everybody else? And how long before White Christmas is deemed racist, or ho ho ho
But it already
is
was.
not, you know, offensive to people in the entertainment industry, or candy canes are offensive to handicapped people. You got to draw a line somewhere, or it's just going to get further and further out of control. And I'm just done with the woke people destroying it.
I would rock the fuck out of that suit.
Well, I completely agree. And nOoOo is offensive to sex workers, as you know, but we say it anyway. So what's the response when you point this out in the hilarious way you do?
Well, I've been eviscerated by some. You know, what kills me is it's young millennial men that are really coming after me. I thought it would be, maybe I'm sexist, but I thought it would be millennial.
It's young millennial men who want to be seen by women going after you.
Women, but it's really the men that are coming after me and really taking shots at me on my posts and stuff. But most people, the vast majority, are positive, because I think the vast majority believe, as I do, that these are traditions that we hold dear, that we've held on to for our whole lives. My kids have never asked what Santa's pronouns are. They don't care. You know what I mean? And what about the systematic oppression of the elves? When do we give them reparations? And how come the reindeer aren't more inclusive? They're all cisgender males, aren't they? Well, Prancer, maybe. But, you know, at some point, you just have to say, no, there shouldn't be an elk or a caribou. They're reindeer. They went after the Santa Claus, the movie by Tim Allen. They said it was fat shaming. It's Santa. He's fat. Can we get over it? Can we just move on with our lives and not ruin it for kids?
Tom Cotter, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel.
Yeah, it was a little cringe, but pretty good. It was a little cringy, but pretty decent.
Identity right now. Why are you doing that, and why haven't you before?
So, the reality is that
she's not bad.
I think most Twitter accounts are anonymous
Yes.
to start with,
Yes.
unless you're a public official or a figure.
Unless you have the verification badge.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah,
Elon changed
right.
that. But until Elon changed that, most Twitter accounts start off anonymous, as did mine. And then when my account started growing, I realized the hatred.
I saw a lot of people say she was on Tim Pool and she didn't look great there. I think it's just Tim Pool's entire studio makes everybody look bad.
That the left has, and their violent nature. And I was like, I'm going to remain anonymous.
Yes.
As my account was growing and getting more effective. And I have remained anonymous until now. Until I was doxxed, my name was shared. My location was shared. My photo was never shared, though I've never done any in-person events. And I'm choosing to do that now because I feel like over the past few months,
Tim Pool has an ugly radius.
I've done so much. I've helped educate people. I know that I have helped create legislation to tackle some of these issues. And
he has like an area of effect.
I think I've done all I can, and I am ready for the next step.
And her being decently attractive is just going to make everybody else hate her that much more.
People asking me, I have mom groups asking me all the time, can you come help us? I get invitations, to help people understand how to expose the left and
Yes.
how to fight it. And, being anonymous was sort of keeping me, like I was restrained from doing all those things. And I'm ready to do that. I think that I'll be a lot more effective when I'm not so anonymous anymore. And I'm excited. I already have a couple of speaking engagements planned for the next few months.
Good.
And, hopefully there will be more, but I want to do all I can and help people to fight this agenda.
And I'm glad that you are. I think it's an act of bravery. And you've had a remarkable effect. And I just want to say, and I'll say this another 10 times because I think it's the most interesting part about you, you haven't really editorialized very much. What you've done, essentially, is bring to
This is just more. And here's the thing, is we are in an era where nobody really cares if you're gay. Nobody cares if you're trans. Nobody gives a shit about that kind of stuff anymore. Everyone's just kind of over it. Like, God bless you, live your life, do whatever you see fit. However, keep it away from children. That is all we ask, is keep it away from children. We're not saying that you can't tell children gay people exist. We're just telling them to stop teaching kids about anal sex and 52 genders. Let's try math. Let's try STEM subjects, social studies, English. Let's do that. We can start teaching children about this when we have a literacy rate of 100%.
Light, or bring to further light, to publicize what they're already saying in public. That's your crime.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want it to be shown, though, to certain audiences. They want their content out there, but they don't want us to see it. So it doesn't really add up.
No, it doesn't add up, and they have no valid.
Well, that's a good point, Steiner. Is nobody cares, but if they want to keep shoving it down, people will more likely reject an ideology forced on them than one that just becomes normalized by osmosis. We as Americans have a culture of fuck you. And that's the issue, is it has been generally accepted and normalized since before the Obama Supreme Court made it legal. It has been accepted, and it has just gotten more accepted since. But the shoving it down people's faces is where it's going to start getting the rejection.
Complaint against you.
Right.
You haven't violated anyone's privacy. You're posting what they put on TikTok.
They're allowed to post it, but we're just not allowed to notice. The crime is noticing what they're doing.
Yes. That's always the crime,
Yeah.
isn't it? So I think you've done an amazing thing, and unlike so many other people in journalism, and I am going to, whether you like it or not, describe you as being in journalism, because I think you are.
I think I am too.
You've had an effect, a real effect, by bringing this to light. How did you wind up, to the extent you're comfortable sharing it, like, how did you wind up doing this? I assume you went to Columbia Journalism School to become a journalist?
I went to Harvard and Yale. Thank God I didn't, though, because those are now, obviously, those institutions are all poisoned.
Harvard and Yale? She's smart as shit.
Welcome to the end of your life, and I promise it's going to hurt.
Dirty Cat Mechanic. Thanks for the show. Happy 2023. Thank you, sir. Greatly appreciated. Now we're about 1/3 to goal. Thank you very much. You know what? If we can fill the bar up, I think we can get a song.
But so it started really during COVID. I was noticing all of this content that was being published on TikTok, and I was just like, this is crazy.
Wait,
like,
but what, at this point, you're not in a related field, like you weren't.
No.
You're not doing anything related to public policy or journalism.
Nothing related to politics, journalism, no. Media,
Were you
nothing.
very political?
No.
Really?
I was not, yeah.
Because COVID was like the other day. This was just a couple years ago.
Yeah, this was 2 years ago. Well, my account started 2 years ago, yeah.
That's just incredible that you can have this effect this quickly. So you're not a super political person. You're not watching people's speeches on C-SPAN.
No.
No, you're just a normal person stuck inside.
Exactly, and then COVID happened, and I think that COVID, for me, and I think for a lot of people, it really woke people up, and it was like an awakening. Either you can stay like sleeping, not really interested in what's going on in our government, or you can choose to get involved. And I think COVID really drew a lot of people in just because of all of the insanity that was going on and that was being imposed on us. Our rights were being violated. And I was like, and that was really a turning point for me to get involved and to be interested. And then COVID also is when
we should kind of all be involved and interested in this kind of stuff when it comes to our children's education. That just seems to make sense. Shouldn't we? Shouldn't we all kind of be interested in what we're teaching the youth of this nation?
TikTok started becoming big because everyone was stuck at home looking for entertainment, and then they stumbled on TikTok, and we started seeing all those videos of nurses, dancing in hospitals during during the pandemic, and I was like, you know, TikTok was getting really big, and I was like, oh, you know, let me see what this TikTok thing is all about. And then I stumbled upon this whole platform with all of the stuff. You know, everyone I'm sure has seen some of the videos. It's just there's so much more, and I was like, I need to disseminate this. Like it's just so bizarre and dangerous. And I was like, I just need as many people to see this as possible.
And in large part, not exclusively, but there was a lot of adults bragging about sexualizing children.
Yes, a lot. Specifically teachers. There are also just parents, activists, doctors. That is the most scary part about it, and that's what my account focuses on a lot now.
Gosh, what an interesting conversation. I hope her stepping out inspires others to do this.
Unexpected smash.
To do the same, step out and speak the truth. You can stream Tucker's full conversation with Chaya Raichik right now on Fox Nation.
Oh, she looks extra delicious today.
As Christmas and Hanukkah celebrations come to a close, I'm sure you agree, it's been kind of nice to take a break from the politics and the noise, the frustration, and
I wouldn't know.
The insanity that surrounded us over this past year. Now, as we look ahead to the new year, we're reminded of the gravity of the challenges we face. We've talked about some of them tonight, and it's easy to feel hopeless when we think about that. What's most important to know is there is hope. Because as long as God exists, whose very essence is love, there is hope. And since God...
Bonk. Yeah. All right, that's fair. Yeah, okay. Quick bonk break. We have 130 watching on the Screams channel and 78 likes, not math. 100 watching on the Silent channel, 67 likes, not math. Guys, smash that like button. Share it out on your social media. Everybody go over and subscribe to the new channel. And if you feel so inclined, please do hit up that Streamlabs. If we fill the bar up here, we're looking at a song or two.
God is eternal and will always exist. There will always be hope. God's love is the light within each of our hearts.
You are wrong, guide. She is a Hawaiian.
And it's the answer to how we as a people...
Okay, I'm not listening to God talk.
Lori, thanks so much for coming on.
Nope,
stop talking, go to jail.
I pulled a couple of my favorite Tucker clips from the year that we will take a look at here soon, so we could just kind of get a retrospective look. My wife's a nurse. The TikTok nurse dances were when the jig was up. She said if they had time to choreograph dances, they aren't busy. This isn't as bad as the media says. I think it's a lot of the time that a lot of people started paying attention.
So I hope that what you're seeing in the response to that segment is a really deep love of animals, who are in some ways the weakest among us. We can do whatever we want to animals, so it's a measure of our decency what we do to animals. It's a measure of the fact that Americans still love animals.
Tucker, we cannot thank you enough for airing this story, and it has helped us with your extremely generous, dog-loving viewers. It is going
Yes,
to
they
let
are.
us save so many more, and also allow us to go back to the border. We've currently got about...
Oh, yeah, we covered this a little bit, that the people coming up through the border are bringing dogs and just leaving them. I'm not sure why they're doing it, but they just are.
900 dogs between our Palm Beach County and Alabama facility, which all need medical care. And this is starting off our new year in a great way. And it's just really heartwarming to me to see how many people have reached out to help, donate, and adopt. And it's because of all of you that many dogs will be loved and have a chance at a wonderful new home.
I think it's meaningful that you're a no-kill shelter. I mean, without judgment, there are a lot of different kinds of shelters, but I think people feel good about giving to a shelter that really is about dogs and about loving them and keeping them alive and not disposing of them.
There are so many dogs still being surrendered because of inflation, the high cost of rent, fuel, groceries, everything. And shelters are so overcrowded right now. So the need for rescue, the need for us to grow and save more is at an all-time high. And we're just extremely grateful to all of you that join our cause, whether you donate, volunteer, adopt. And thank you so very, very much for getting this out, because
Allow the dogs in and send the people back. I like it.
people need to know there's wonderful dogs out there that need homes. Don't buy from a breeder. Spay and neuter your pets. Let's end this problem of dog homelessness. And the dogs need us, and we're thankful for all of you.
They love us unconditionally. We should love them back. I think that's true. Lori, great to see you tonight. Thank you for
Absolutely.
what you're doing.
And Happy New Year, and thank you so much.
Skip.
So if you go on TikTok, you may have concerns about the state of the American economy. There are a lot of young white-collar employees, marketing majors from Davidson, filming themselves at work, and it turns out they don't do a lot. They take a lot of breaks. We're not being mean. These are their words. Here's a
Well, yeah. Did anyone think they were working?
Twitter employee from San Francisco.
Welcome to a day in my life as a Twitter employee. So this past week went to SF for the first time at a Twitter office, badged in. Honestly, took a moment to just soak everything in. What a blessing. Also started my morning off with an iced matcha from the perch. Then I had a meeting, so quickly scheduled one of these little pod rooms, which were so cool. They're literally noise canceling. Took my meeting.
I think my old local library had one of those.
Got ready for lunch. Look how delicious this food looks. Oh my goodness, I was so overwhelmed. Then made my way down to this log cabin area. I don't know what this is, but it was really cool. Played some foosball with my friends to kind of unwind a bit.
Wasn't Twitter taking a stipend from the government? Is this what it was being used for?
Also found this really cool meditation room.
Well, Mike Rowe has spent his life reporting on work and, in fact, working. He saw that segment and reached out and said it's more important than ever to show the fact that a lot of Americans are doing real work. In fact, he's got a whole show about this called Dirty Jobs. It's been on the air for 20 years. He's also the host of...
They want me to do actual work, and I just can't accept these conditions. They should just know I have anxiety, ASMR, PTSD, and Trumpophobia. I'm going to need 4 breaks a day and at least a 6-figure income from this job. Bigots. No wonder Elon fired 80% of the fucking the women in the efficiency. That's funny.
Of How America Works on Fox Nation. He joins us tonight. Mike Rowe, thanks so much for coming on. When we did that segment, I thought of you banging out the script the whole time. This is the opposite of the kind of actual work Mike Rowe has dedicated his life to telling the rest of us about.
Yeah, you didn't tell me you were going to do that segment. Had I known, I would have insisted on following it up with something. So thank you for the chance to do that now.
Of course.
And let me just say, I can't speak really for anybody but me, but I would bet big that millions and millions of people jumped out of their chairs, screamed words we can't repeat on your program as a result of watching what you showed them. And look, again, it's not about being mean, but our relationship
But I wouldn't mind being a little mean.
with work, our definition of what a good job is, that's something we can control. And you're so right. Portrayals of work shift with time. And I think part of the reason Dirty Jobs has been on the air for the last 20 years is we are the antidote to what you just showed America. We go to places where there's no meditation room. There's no 5-star breakfast.
I do love Dirty Jobs. That is a great show, and it's really good to see the different way people live. Like, I think everyone should watch at least an episode or 2 of it to kind of just get an idea of the shit people have to do.
to start the day. There's the bag house at the asphalt plant. They're just example after example after example. 350 jobs we've done so far of people who are still doing things that look like work. So we can talk about a ton of different things, but fundamentally, our country still needs to be reminded of what, forgive me, I'm just going to say it, what real work looks like.
Well, it's just interesting that what you're calling real work is provably real because it's the work that if people stop doing,
we will take Jerusalem. Deus Vult, Deus Vult, Deus Vult, Deus Vult, Deus Vult.
Holy shit. Hold on. Please tell me. Holy shit. Hold on.
We will take. It's provably real because it's the work that if people stop doing,
we will take Jerusalem.
Fantastic timing. Fantastic timing. Wow. Oh, that was good. That was very good. Oh boy. Americans need to earn a living wage. Do some work. You will. A high school friend was assistant manager at McDonald's in 6 months. He was smart and driven. That's literally all it takes. Minimum wage is not a career. Yeah, minimum wage is literally supposed to be a starting point. You're not supposed to support a family off minimum wage. Yeah, guys, clip it, clip it, clip it.
because it's the work that if people stop doing, we would all pay for immediately. Like we would die in a lot of cases. There's no dispute. Like this is the actual indispensable work.
Look, and it makes us angry to be reminded of that because we don't like the
And thank Matt Barnes for that fantastic timing.
idea that we're so reliant and so dependent on such a small and marginalized chunk of our workforce.
Exactly.
But it's the truth. Look, this episode's about good news, so let me give you some. MicroWorks, my foundation, evolved out of Dirty Jobs 15 years ago. With your help and a lot of appearances on your show over the last however.
Is that Micro from Dirty Jobs? No, that's Micro from not Dirty. I got nothing.
For many years, we've raised over $6 million in work ethic scholarships, and we've awarded that money to over 1,500 people who are now welding and steam fitting and pipe fitting and plumbing.
Pipe fitting fucking sucks.
And they're thriving, Tucker.
And plumbing, I don't do. I've hated plumbing forever and a half.
Again and again and again, we see that it's still possible to achieve something that looks like prosperity if you begin by mastering a skill that's in demand. Shameless plug.
Exactly.
We're going to do it again next month. Work ethic scholarships at
It's Micro from the Home Shopping Channel.
microworks.org. We're moving the needle in a modest way, but it starts by tapping the country on the shoulder, as you have done, and
Oh, Kiever Dam. My dad was a plumber. Okay, so plumbing as a career isn't bad. But as a contractor, we're usually asked to do a little bit of plumbing, like putting a shower in, putting faucets in, swapping out pipe, shit like that. I hated it. I hated plumbing more than roofing. I hated plumbing more than flooring. I hated plumbing the most.
reminding them that real jobs still exist. 11 million of them are out there right now. The opportunities are everywhere. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
And they should have higher status. I mean, I love what you said about these are marginalized people. That's exactly right. These are the people, the guys who work at asphalt plants.
All I'm saying is I see a lot of people in the Screams chat who are in the wrong chat that need to be in the Silent Sin chat.
Good evening and welcome to a special and unusual edition of Tucker Carlson Tonight, a happy edition. It's the new.
You know, the worst thing about plumbing is being a big guy. I'm 6 foot if I get a good night's sleep, 5'11" normally. I'm very broad, 54-ish inches around the chest. It's I cannot squeeze my shoulders into the tight spaces that you have to get to do a fucking pipe. Like if I could do it with my feet, I'd be fucking flying. I'd be flying. I got it. But 54-inch chest, I'm not fucking squeezing into shit. How do I get into the correct channel? Well, you'd have to go to my Twitter or to the Discord and follow the links therein. It is pinned in both places. I'm in the right chat, right? Yes, you are. Kiever Dam, Bridget, Karina, Bash, Da Doggy are not.
New year. As the new year begins, 2023.
You're saying you suck at laying pipe? No, I'm saying I suck at fitting into small places. Gulf City Librarian for the 5. The former Twitter employee would see the dirty jobs guys ruined and their families torn away. Can't imagine what the guy used to go swimming through shit could do for revenge. Yeah, no kidding. There you go, Karina. Nice one.
Everything that's going on in the world, it is easy to feel, well, a sense of impending doom. You could spend 5 minutes watching TV or browsing social media, and you would come up with a million reasons why this country is done. So despair is more tempting than ever. But it's not the whole story. And because it's not, we're taking the next hour to show you the other side. Yes, this country has problems. We wouldn't have a very interesting TV show if it didn't. But the truth is that this country also has an awful lot going for it.
Yeah, guys, I don't know how many times we have to say it, but America is the best country, period. What's the new channel again? The Silent Sin.
More than any other country in the world. Great people, deep natural beauty, and a culture-wide love of animals, which matters. So even where there is tremendous suffering, all of that shines through. That's the gift. Subscribe to the Fox.
I will throw the Discord in the chat. And here we go with kind of the recap of some of the best Tuck of the year. I got these in order, so we have enough to fill the time. Bang, 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 da bang, bang, bang.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. We want to begin by noting something obvious because this is the obvious show. If you live in the United States, you may have noticed that many of our public spaces have become permanent homeless encampments. You see trash-filled tents blotting out what were once green and tidy public parks. You step over vagrants drooling unconscious on the steps of train stations on the way to work.
That's true, Khaleesi, you do. But you are bad at replying to messages.
Watch as junkies smoke meth without any embarrassment at all and then yell at pedestrians on the sidewalk, maybe at your children. Everywhere, at every intersection, there are beggars. It's what we used to imagine India was like, but this is not Calcutta. This is New York and San Francisco and Austin, Texas. So the question is, what happened? And the short answer is, our leaders did this. No matter what they tell you, homelessness is not an act of God. It's not the result of economic collapse in this country. America did not run out of housing. Instead, a determined group of well-funded ideologues decided to make it easier to live on the streets in this country while doing drugs.
And does anybody know how they kind of come across this power? Interesting. Not my next message.
Therefore, many more people now live on the streets while doing drugs. See? Not complicated. In 2005, an unemployed alcoholic called Basil Humphrey enrolled in a rehab program in Boise, Idaho. When Humphrey refused to stop drinking, the rescue mission kicked him out. Those were the rules, and he spent months sleeping outside, as so many do. Eventually, local authorities ticketed him for camping on public property. That was the law. The story would have ended there, except that a huge...
Yeah, all this time while simultaneously closing all the mental asylums. Good point, Zach.
Huge corporate law firm in New York City called Latham & Watkins took an interest in the case on the other side of the country. Now, typically, Latham & Watkins represents Wall Street banks and prominent Democratic office holders. But the firm wanted to change vagrancy laws to increase homelessness. Why did they want that? We don't know. But the firm filed a lawsuit on Basil Humphrey's behalf against the city of Boise. That suit made it to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. In 2018, the court declared that cities...
Are you message shaming, Sin? Yes.
...have no right to criminalize homelessness. In fact, the court ruled cities have an obligation to provide free housing to the homeless at public expense. The Supreme
No wonder our taxes are so high. That's very interesting.
The court later upheld that ruling. The case was known as Martin versus Boise, and it had exactly the effect that Latham and Watkins intended. City officials across the country no longer had an obligation to protect the public and public spaces from drug addicts who decided to live in them. At the same time, politicians suddenly had access to a massive new source of cash. Taxpayer money, many billions in taxpayer money, for something called homelessness prevention.
So, homelessness prevention, to me, would be asylums to take care of mentally ill people and free public housing, which would be terrible, but better than the streets.
Now, what is homelessness prevention? Well, of course, it's the opposite of what they call it, as always. Here's Seattle's interpretation of homelessness prevention.
A handful of Seattle's more than 12,000 homeless will soon be going from the street to a new apartment with stunning views of the Space Needle and Puget Sound, using...
They built something similar to this in a city kind of close to me. And it's a massive apartment complex, but it's just for this.
Part of its share of the $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, the city bought 3 brand new apartment buildings for $50 million for 165 homeless, a price of $300,000 per unit. In Los Angeles, Skid Row is about to get a new neighbor, a 19-story high-rise for homeless.
Oh, boy. Barbecue Chicken said that her channel was just demonetized. Interesting.
Costing taxpayers $160 million, or $580,000 per unit. They're part of an expensive push to get the homeless off of sidewalks and out of city parks and into government-subsidized housing, even if it means buying new buildings at market rate from developers.
Oh, stunning views of the Space Needle in Puget Sound. Do you have one of those? Well, crackheads do. More than $500,000 per apartment to house drug addicts at...
Oh, no, the ones over here I bet would be like $5,000 just in materials.
Public expense. At market rates.
But $300,000 per villa would that is somebody knows a contractor. And they just, fucking terrible. Terrible.
So you can see why real estate developers would strongly support a program like that, and of course they strongly do. But luxury apartments are just the beginning. Seattle's most recent municipal budget
Matt Barnes, I'm not against bringing back poor farms. You work the day, you get a room. If you can't stay, don't let us catch you sleeping in the park or it's downtown for you. See, there is no really good solution for this. There is no good solution. Cronyism, thank you. There is no good solution. But I personally would feel a lot better with asylums for the people that need it and just like skyscraper sheds. Does that make sense? Like skyscraper buildings with like rooms the size of studio apartments in it for people who the goal is to get these people off the street with as little tax money spent as possible. There is no good solution to this, but at least that way they have an address and asylums for the people who need it. I feel like with the addition of asylums, you also deal with a lot of drug addicts, mental illness, and I kind of forgot where I was going with that.
Allocates more than $150 million to other so-called homelessness programs just this year. Now, keep in mind, Seattle has fewer than 750,000 people living there. So that's an awful lot of money per bum. It's certainly a lot more than anyone else is getting in Seattle. At the same time, it was giving overpriced condos to drug addicts with stunning views of Puget Sound. Seattle allocated just $10 million total for its small business stabilization fund designed to keep family businesses from going bankrupt during the COVID lockdowns. So
they'd have a fixed address where they can like get mail to and shit like that. It's just my thoughts. To be honest, I'm hesitant about asylums because people who were undesirables have been dumped there. However, if used for people who need long-term inpatient, I'm here for it. I like your ideas, and I think that's pretty doable. Thank you. I think that's a reasonable idea. But it's going to cost tax money either way, but I feel like just doing apartment buildings that can house a few hundred people in each one, give them a fixed address, and reopening asylums is cheaper than just dumping money into cities that still have tent cities within. Hey, Edward, how are we doing, buddy? What's going on?
City's priorities could not be clearer than that.
Edward, by the way, the man who has hit the 200 more than I think anybody else combined.
Lavish money on the least productive, most antisocial parasites in our society, and then you punish Americans who work for a living. Got it? And it's hardly just Seattle. The latest city budget in San Francisco proposes spending $667 million on something called...
Yeah, and they like to come into ER and then throw you around when you try to discharge them. See, man, this is just dumping shit on people who can't deal with it.
The Department of Homelessness and Supportive Housing. And yet, at the very same time, San Francisco's Department...
Okay, here's a hot take. I don't know if anyone will agree to this, actually. I think we should have a separate sect of asylums for people who are not getting off of the drugs they need to. Like, see that person just sitting there? I guarantee you there's a heroin needle within 5 feet, and they're just not going to get off of it. I feel like that's another thing we need to, and we have a drug problem here, the likes that we have never seen before, and probably the worst in the world. And we cannot just let this go. We have to take care of people.
Department of Children, Youth, and Families gets less than half that amount. A city program designed to help low-income families pay college tuition gets just $16 million total. That's about 2% of what the homeless get. So in San Francisco, it makes sense. In fact, it pays to get high on the sidewalk. Don't bother to get an education. Nobody cares. That's the message from the city. Couldn't be clearer. In Austin, Texas, the city's budget for homelessness assistance was $68 million last year. At the very same time, the city of Austin spent just $3.5 million in new loans for struggling small businesses, and only $7 million for, quote, mission-critical infrastructure.
70 million. Let me pull those numbers back. I got to listen to that.
Of homelessness and supportive housing. And yet, at the very same time, San Francisco's Department of Children, Youth, and Families gets less than half that amount, going bankrupt during the COVID lockdowns. So the city's priorities could not be clearer than that. You lavish money on the least productive, most antisocial parasites in our society, and then you punish Americans who work for a living.
But you cannot, and I get what he's saying, but you can not just write these people off from society because they're not going anywhere. These people aren't just going to disappear. They're going to be a pox on the cities, you know, the economic hubs of the area. They're going to be a pox on them, and they're going to inflict themselves and harm onto other people. Unless you literally have like camps, barbed wire, fucking a la Auschwitz for homeless people without the death chambers. You can't just leave this there. You just can't. Send them to Canada. Okay, fine.
Got it? And it's hardly just Seattle. The latest city budget in San Francisco proposes spending $667 million on something called the Department of Homelessness and Support.
Okay. How much money does an apartment building cost? $37 million to construct. And how much did he say?
Supportive housing, $667 million.
All right, let's notepad. No, I need WordPad. We're going to do some numbers. Okay, so where's my cursor? Where are you? Here we go. Gotta blow this up a little bit. Bang, bang, bang. 667 million. 667 million. So we're going to no, that's not what I wanted. We're going to subtract. What was it? 30 million? 37 million. 3, 7, 1, 2, 3. That's 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And there's 63 million. No, I'm sorry. 603 million. 630,000,000. Okay. Now let's do this 10 times, and you still have like half of the money left. So how many apartments are in your average apartment building? How many apartments in a complex? On average, I assume... How many apartments in an apartment building? Just average. Just an average amount. Is there an answer? Okay, I can't find an answer, but I'd assume between 300 to 500. So you're housing 3,000 to 5,000 people with this, and assuming you make the apartment small, you can cut that by 40%. So 4,000 to 7,000 people with half of the money and giving them actual homes. That's just me, though. I'm looking for actual solutions, not fucking money laundering.
On something called the Department of Homelessness and Supportive Housing. And yet, at the very same time, San Francisco's Department of Children, Youth, and Families gets less than half that amount. A city program designed to help low-income families pay college tuition gets...
Yeah, that was my issue, was like the space and how it's divided up with their suites and studios, et cetera, et cetera.
Just $16 million total. That's about 2% of what the homeless get. So in San Francisco, it makes sense. In fact, it pays to get high on the sidewalk. Don't bother to get an education. Nobody cares. That's the message.
But we cannot just have this. We just can't.
From the city. Couldn't be clearer. In Austin, Texas, the city's budget for homelessness assistance was $68 million last year. At the very same time, the city of Austin spent just $3.5 million in new loans for struggling small businesses, and only $7 million for, quote, mission-critical infrastructure and deferred maintenance at city facilities, like the things that matter. And at the same time as this was going on, the police department in the city of Austin got an $11 million budget cut. So what happened to the homelessness in Austin, the problem they were trying to, quote, solve? Well, to no one's surprise, it has grown by 10% in just 2 years. You get what you pay for. When you pay for homelessness, you get a lot more of it. See how that works? In Los Angeles, politicians have spent billions, quote, fighting homelessness. This has been accompanied, of course, by a massive increase in the number of people who are homeless. 4 years ago, the city spent $440 million on what it called solutions to homelessness. That was supposed to fix the problem. Did it? Homelessness in Los Angeles jumped 15% just last year. So
that is mostly because of inflation, mostly because of the COVID shit, people still trying to get their stimmies and all that shit. So no one was just paying bills, and they thought, okay, I just don't have to pay bills anymore.
This year, LA will spend more, close to $1 billion on the homeless in 2022. As for the small businesses crushed by the city's lunatic COVID restrictions, you ask, what'll they get? Well, they get $62 million total. The city's gang reduction program gets about half that. So politicians in Los Angeles are at the very least very clear about their priorities. What has this done to LA? We don't have to look far to see the answer to that. Last week, a homeless man walked into a furniture store on the west side of Los Angeles and murdered a graduate student who was working alone there. He stabbed her to death for no apparent reason.
Holy fucking shit.
And then walked out. He's still at large. She was 24, now she's dead. Today, her father told Fox and Friends that he holds city officials responsible for the killing. Watch.
What's endemic in our society right now is that everybody seems to be oriented on giving back rights and bestowing favor on people that rob others of their rights. We should be celebrating the good in people and trying to recognize that that's the job they have, is to try to elevate that, to make communities better, to make people care more, to not tear down communities by exposing them to people that are falling out the bottom that really don't care about the other human beings and just think they can do whatever they like in our society, and they are doing it more and more in every community.
Pretty composed for a man who just lost his child, but he's...
Oh boy, I would be a one-man purge.
Absolutely right. Focusing
Hey,
our
boy.
attention...
Look what I got here. Hey, where are the white women at?
Hey, Sin, I got an idea. If you're interested, could you doctor up that creepy Joker grinning Batman killing pic of Biden and make him look like the Joker? I could not. I'm not that proficient with Photoshop, but I bet somebody out there can. Thank you, Fostonia, for the big 25. Much appreciated. We're about 2/3. No, that's not correct. We're almost halfway to goal, and we have like 10 minutes left, so we probably won't get it. But thank you so much, Fostonia. I really appreciate that. What am I clicking?
And our money on people who contribute nothing, who only detract from the project that is this country, don't help their communities or anybody's community, who hurt other people, who live solely for themselves, who are a danger to the rest of us. That's insane. And so that girl died, and she wasn't the only one. Last month in Los Angeles, a man called Carrie Bell murdered a 70-year-old emergency room nurse. She was on her way to work, one of the people we should be celebrating. Now she's dead. Who's the man who killed her? Well, Bell had a long criminal record. He had a prior arrest in LA. He had arrests in other states as well. But authorities let him go and kept letting him go. Bell was homeless. He was a victim. He was part of a protected
Roughly 40.
class. And then he killed somebody. Here's Fox LA's report on that.
Days after a brutal attack at a Union Station bus stop, a beloved nurse lost her life. Sandra Shells worked at LA County USC Medical Center.
Wow. Khaleesi?
For decades, where she was highly respected and revered. Shells was allegedly assaulted Thursday morning by a homeless man, now identified by police as
2/5 is precisely 40%. Ah, yes, but we are not precisely at 2/5, sir.
48-year-old Carrie Bell. They say he hit Shells for no apparent reason, the force knocking her to the ground and fracturing her skull. Police say they found him sleeping nearby about 90 minutes later and arrested him without incident.
She was an emergency room nurse walking alone to work, and now she's dead. Another woman murdered.
There's a hospital down in Cleveland called University Hospital. It's on, I think, Union Boulevard or something like that. I don't trust any place that has university or union in it because it gives me big MLK Boulevard vibes.
By the homeless. And don't lie to yourself. No one in LA is ever going to do anything about it. You're probably going to hear outraged noises for a few days. Harumph, harumph, harumph. But politicians will quickly get back to showering the unhoused community with another $1 billion. What you're watching here is civilization collapsing in real time. And it's not new. Here's video our producers shot in Los Angeles in the spring of 2019, almost 3 years ago. It shows homeless encampments downtown on 3 separate blocks. It starts at 5th and San Pedro, and then it goes west, seemingly forever. So in January of 2020, the LA Times reported that, quote, California's railroad tracks are now lined with men and women sleeping in tents or under cardboard boxes. In America, by the way. Well, in response to this, Governor Gavin Newsom announced another $12 billion in state funding to, quote, fight homelessness.
Ooh. You could build a couple of apartment buildings with that.
How'd that work? We'll hear the results.
From Skyfox, the images are startling. Thousands of empty or damaged packages lining the tracks along
And to think we're funding drone bombs in Ukraine.
the Union Pacific LA Railway. Amazon packages, UPS boxes, all meant for delivery to customers along the West Coast. They're opened by cargo thieves who take advantage of the trains stopping or slowing down to break into the containers. Union Pacific officials saying they've had a 160% increase in cargo thefts in the LA County area, with over 90 containers broken into every day.
So I guess they didn't clean up the railroad tracks. $12 billion.
Asylum.
Disorder got worse. But
Drug
of course,
asylum.
allowing people to live outside and
Asylum.
defecate outside in public places and use drugs outside in front of our children is both the cause and a symptom of growing disorder and chaos. It's the degradation of what holds us together as a civilization. So our producers are back in LA right now shooting a documentary for season 2 of our Tucker Carlson original series on Fox Nation. It's going to be out soon. You're seeing some of the footage on your screen right now. What you're seeing now was shot this morning on Skid Row. Skid Row in LA is a 50-block neighborhood east of downtown. And it's hard to overstate just how dystopian it is. You should go for yourself sometime and drive through, roll them up, but watch.
Go roll them up.
You will not believe this is America, the country you grew up in. This is what California got for...
And people call this fear-mongering. Talking about this issue, they call it fear-mongering. It's not. It's trying to draw attention to one of the biggest problems in our country. Like we are a great nation. America is the best nation on the face of the earth. I reject anybody who says otherwise. But we have issues. We have rampant invasion at the southern border. We have an insatiable government body stealing money from people hand over fist. We have homelessness through the fucking roof being allowed to run rampant and act on with immunity. We have a drug problem that is killing our youth at a rate greater than anywhere in the world and would be considered a genocide or a literal pandemic to any forward-thinking nation. But talking about any of those issues is just seen as fear-mongering. No, man, we're trying to get it fixed because this is unsustainable. The greatest nation in the world stands at the brink of total collapse, if not civil war, if not outright revolt. And we're just pretending it doesn't happen and deriding people who talk about it. It's not good. I don't know what the solution is, but I know that what we're doing right now will not last. And we have to deal with it one issue at a time, but we have to deal with it. That's unquestionable.
$12 billion. Not fewer homeless, just better funded homeless, and thousands more of them. So like COVID and OxyContin and virtually everything else that's wrecking the country our ancestors built, this is a manufactured crisis. It didn't happen by accident. People paid for it. In New York, officials have given drug addicts priority over virtually everyone else in the city. A lot of working poor in New York. We ought to be celebrating them. The city isn't. It's ignoring them. In 2015, the annual budget of the New York City Department of Homeless Services was $950 million. This year, it's double that. It's about $2 billion. Now, how much is that? Well, what they're spending on the homeless in New York City is more than the city's entire public university system.
And the issue with my thought process is the changes have to come from on high down. Our leaders don't care about this. I don't care what Republican or what Democrat Senate member you point at. sans maybe Rand Paul, nobody gives a shit about these issues. Nobody cares because it doesn't affect them. Fucking Mitt Romney doesn't have to walk through a homeless camp to go to work. Nancy Pelosi's not getting harassed by the newly improved and outfitted IRS on her taxes. It's not happening to them, so they don't care. They just don't care. So this change has to come from on high, because just us talking about it is not going to change anything except maybe getting us put on a list. But something has to be done. Where is the cutoff on government involvement? We are involving ourselves in Ukraine, plenty, few $100 billion given to Ukraine. That's money that could be used to help fix these issues. We're getting involved in plenty of stuff, but is it within my principles and values as a little L libertarian to open forced detox centers, to open mental asylums? I think so. I think it might be, because these things need to be fixed. They just do. Like, there's no two ways about it. They have to be fixed.
More than they get to educate far more people. So the homeless are getting more per student to live outside and smoke meth. Is that creating fewer homeless? Probably not. In fact, New York's homeless population is now at its highest level since the Great Depression. So where's all this money going specifically? Now, we could do 5 hours on this.
If only I would notice what.
But here's just one example. That money is going to an overdose prevention center, preventing overdoses, which in fact means helping the homeless get high.
Officially called an overdose prevention center, it's a place where users can snort, smoke, swallow, or inject illegal drugs in a controlled environment.
See, now this is a thing I'm pretty torn on, because sharing needles and all that stuff is terrible. But should we have this? I don't really think so. We shouldn't let it get to this point where this is a viable option.
Centers in East Harlem and Washington Heights are the first in the nation to allow supervised drug use. The head of an East Harlem community organization says the facility and a nearby methadone clinic have led to an unwanted influx of addicts.
They all come here from different areas of the city. We never had this around here, no matter how bad it was through the...
So the book I'm reading, there's government officials called practicals. Practicals first law. I think in these centers we should have practicals. Exactly like they are in the book. We should have practicals. Can I have one that doesn't look like a psychopath? Here we go. No? Is it really that small of a photo? Come on. I think we should have practicals in these. And practicals are masked figures that are there to enforce the law a certain way. Here's one of the practicals. Why is it doing that? Like, we should have these guys, and when someone comes in to shoot up, a practical just comes out and bundles them into a van, takes their ID, notifies the family, and said, you'll get him back in 6 weeks once we get him clean.
60s, all of that. We never had this around here.
It's pretty funny watching people look confused as they see this. What's going on here? I don't remember this. But it's not complicated at all. It couldn't be simpler. Politicians are making it much easier to be a homeless drug addict in the United States.
Or, I see or, but I don't see the first part of that or statement.
And much harder to be a law-abiding member of the middle class. What's the effect? Well, let's see. The middle class is dying, and we now have record numbers of drug-addicted vagrants. What does that tell you?
I just pulled a number out of my ass. I don't mean exactly 6 weeks, but yeah, we just need these guys. We need practicals in there to just take these guys, put them in a van, and detox them. That's what we need.
It tells you that incentives work. If you destroy the nuclear family, which they have, if you decriminalize drugs, which they have, if you hand out tents and needles to addicts, what do you think's going to happen? You're going to get more addicts living in tents. Again, it's not complicated. This is not a vexing public policy question that requires the Brookings Institution to investigate. It's not like fixing Social Security. And the solution is as simple as the problem. Here's the solution. Stop putting up with it. Say no. No, you can't smoke meth in the park. You're not.
Yeah, but you can't say, no, I'm not paying my taxes to fund this horse shit, because then other people with guns are going to show up at your house. Like, this is why I say we are on the precipice of societal failure, and nobody gives a shit except us.
Not allowed to crap on the sidewalk. Pull up your pants and get the hell out of here. Go somewhere with lower standards. Head for a place where politicians don't care about their people, because we do care. And that's why we're hauling your tent to a landfill and cutting off your checks today. You are a drug addict. Get a job or leave. This is our city. You are not allowed to wreck it. You didn't build it. You know, that's
I cannot agree more. And the people who are the most proponents of this contribute approximately nothing to society. And it's just a sad state. It's a sad state.
It's not hard. That works. We know it works because that's how societies function for about 2,000 years. If you're an unmarried man with no job, you were not allowed to destroy things. It wasn't.
If you are an unmarried person with no job and no kids, your voice matters, but you should not be allowed to tear stuff down. And I think that's the big issue with society right now. Is that the people who don't build anything from a generation that has built very little are intent on tearing it all down.
You're right. And by the way, this is how successful families still operate to this day in the privacy of their own homes when the NGOs aren't watching. Parents reward good behavior, and they do not tolerate bad behavior. Why? Because if you let your kids smoke weed at the breakfast table, they will. So you don't let them. So why not apply the same standard to the drug addicts at Penn Station? Because what we're doing now isn't compassionate. It's an attack on civilization.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brad.
Oh, Jesus. Close. This is, I don't know, I would disagree. It don't matter if they serve those that serve the community. But that's, yeah, you're right. You're right. You are correct. You are absolutely correct. I did not think that statement through. I don't know. It's a sad state. It's a very sad state, and there's no good answer to any of this. There just isn't. Well, that should give you something to chew on until the AAA tomorrow on Polydub's channel at 5:30 EST. I will not be doing a rollover tonight, as I am currently in the middle of not only being in a fair amount of pain, but trying to clean up. I will say that homeless vets get first dibs. I agree. You made some statement about what America is, so I made a reference to a Biden clip that turned into a donation. Oh, okay. But yeah, guys, that's it. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Thank you for a wonderful show tonight. Sorry I meandered for the first 45 minutes of it. But check out the AAA tomorrow, which should be on Polydub's channel at 5:30 EST. Everybody have a lovely, lovely evening, and I will see you all in